In today's video, I'll be going over tournament results from the past week or so since the new set released, and just giving you a general overview on how things are shaping up with these new cards. So I'll be going over two different tournaments. The first one is Judy's 180 player tournament. Second one is Magma's 200 player. So these are the two largest tournaments that have finished at the time I'm recording this, and I'm going to go over Judy's first. So first and second place is the deck we all know and love, Dark Tina. Somehow this is really still dominant. You're going to see it being placed all throughout here, but there is a lot of new cards that did perform very well in this, which is what we're going to talk about today. The first one is Sylve Pichu. This is honestly a genius deck. I haven't made a video on it yet, but I will make a video going more in depth in the future. This did extremely well because Pichu solves Sylve's issue of, you know, it needs to go second to consistently win because it can't attack first if you don't go second. But Pichu allows you to put an electric energy on your bench during your first turn, so it makes going first really good. Also, Oricorio you can throw in here because you're only running electric energy, and Oricorio is just great. Plus, we don't really have that many Pokemon in here, so you also have a ton of room for different supporters, as you can see scattered throughout here. I expect this deck to become more popular and receive more use, especially since it did so well in this tournament. I don't know if it's top tier. There was only one player that did well with this, but maybe we'll see it, you know, become more popular in the future. Next up, we have Donfan Rampardos. Now, I've seen Donphan do really well in multiple different lists. There's a bunch of different ways to play it. Like there's a Sylve version, there's a Rampardos version. I know there's a Lucario version, which we're going to talk about in a minute. There's also a Tyrogue one. So I did talk about that in my video, how there's probably going to be a bunch of different ways to play this card. It's actually fairly good. Now, they're completely relying on, you know, opening up with Fanfi, evolving as quick as they can, and then it's just attacking right away. And then as soon as Donphan dies, you go into Rampardos and follow up, and it just does a massive amount of damage. Now, in my opinion, I feel like this is pretty inconsistent because you can't search Skull Fossil, so you just have to get lucky, draw into it, and hopefully you draw into it before Donphan dies, or else you're just cooked, you're just done for. Also, you know, Donphan has a really high retreat cost. I guess that's why they're running the new Lyra, so they can just swap into Rampardos really quick. But I feel like they got a little bit lucky maybe with this build. I feel like this is not super consistent, but definitely give it a shot. I did try this in ranked, and I just could not draw into Rampardos at all for like 4 games in a row. So try this if you want, but I will be going over more Donphan versions later on in this video. The next new card deck that placed really well was Crobat Sylveon. So they actually ran both versions of Zubat and Crobat, and they just ran one single Sylveon line just as it just kind of acts as an extra professor. Nihilego too for that extra poison chip damage. I think running one might be the way to go because that also helps you destroy Oricorio. And Darkrai is really good because you just build it behind Crobat, do chip damage with it. They're also running a Lily because it helps heal Crobat. One Dark Pendant. This is the new card that shuffles one of your opponent's cards back in their hand when your active gets injured. And then one Silver. Silver is becoming very popular, and it's definitely a staple. You're going to see it a lot. I know some are actually opting to go for 2 Sylveon lines just for more consistency. So if you're having trouble drawing Crobat fast enough, you might want to try that. Nihilego, I think it's solely being really run for Oricorio, and just because it kind of pairs well with Crobat's poison too. The next deck we have here, placed top 10, is Espeon Sylveon. This deck is just insanely consistent. You have 4 EVs and 2 Sylveons. So Sylveon pretty much acts as a professor, so you have 4 professors in this deck, and they're running 2 Silvers plus 2 red cards, which is very toxic. This is a very mean deck. Silver shuffles one of your opponent's supporters back into their deck, and then red card also shuffles their hand until they have 3 cards left. So say you go first, you red card, you remove a card from their hand, and then you silver, and then you remove another supporter. So they're left with 2 cards in their first turn. This is very mean, but it's a really good way to control the flow of the game. Now also Espeon, it has good sustain, good healing combined with EV Bag, and then you can follow up with base Sylveon, which has the ability to do up to 130 damage. So that is really good, and you're going to be able to do that consistently because you do evolve very fast having the double Sylveon in your deck. And honestly, only one of these decks placed well here, placed high enough. I guess there was one that was top 12 too, but they did really well in the Magma tournament that I'm about to talk about. So this is Magma. First place, it was Dark Tina, of course, and then second is Charizard. Third is Donphan Lucario. So this is similar to the deck that I built on my channel, except I ran Sylveon for more draw power, and Donphan Sylveon has placed, but it just hasn't placed as high as these. You actually want to go first with this deck because you want to evolve Donphan, use Gigantic Press right away, as well as evolve Lucario as fast as you can on the bench. Now, Tyrogue is also insanely good because you can attack with him going first. It's just a pure going first deck because, you know, his attack 20 damage and it costs no energy. He is 30 HP, so it means he can give up a point. But honestly, it seems like it's worth it just to be able to attack so quickly with him. They're also running one hiker because they run so many basic fighting. They're able to look at like 2 to 3 cards typically from the top of their deck and arrange it in any order they want, which is really, really nice for finding your supporters. So this seems to be one of the optimal ways to play this. And this is definitely probably more consistent, but a little bit less powerful than the Rampardos version. After that, in 4th place, we had another Crobat Sylveon EX. And then in 5th, we had an Espeon EX, Sylveon EX, and both of these are built the same way as the deck that I just showed you. And then in 7th, we have another Donphan Lucario, and then Crobat Darkrai, as well as another Donphan Lucario. So it seems like the biggest winners out of this update so far is easily Crobat, Donphan, and Espeon. We do have a Dragonite placing top 17, which is actually a really good placement considering there's not many Dragonites being played at all. If you scroll down, you're barely going to see any. Honestly, with such little representation, for it to place top 17 is pretty good. This is the list. They opted for a Cleffa because it's going to help you search your deck for free, as well as a Zeraora, just to give you, you know, another option to generate electric energy instead of just Pichu. And then they run 2 elemental switches so they can swap around that energy. I kind of want to try this version. I'm confused at why they ran Old Ember. I probably wouldn't run this because you already have 2 Lyras and you're probably going to get Lyras most of the time. I guess maybe not because they're not running Sylveon. So I actually ran 2 Sylveons because it pretty much guaranteed you Dragonite by your 3rd turn, and it guaranteed you Pichu because you were just drawing so much. But instead of Sylveon, I guess they wanted to go with Cleffa instead, and they ran that extra Old Amber because sometimes I guess they wouldn't draw into Lyra, so they had to discard an Amber to attack with Dragonite. Honestly, I'm not sure if this is more consistent. I need to test it out myself. It looks like it might not be, but they still did place really high in this tournament. And then in the top 20 here, we have one Lugia Ho-Oh EX. I'm actually shocked this even made it to the top 20. They're using 2 baby Pokemon. They're using Pichu and Magby to generate fire and generate electric, and they're generating that energy probably for Ho-Oh and then attacking with Ho-Oh and then transferring that energy to Lugia. They also have Raikou because it does 70 for 2, which is actually not terrible. If you generate energy with Pichu, you can attack with that right away. So this is spicy. I do like the way they built this a lot, actually. This might be one of the best versions to run this. I definitely need to try this out and make a video on it. When I originally talked about these cards, I kept saying I think we're going to get a new supporter for them to help them out, or Ho-Oh is just not going to be that good. Turns out we didn't get any support for it except for just the card being released. So it turns out it's not that great, and I was right. If we didn't receive anything extra for it, it wasn't going to be amazing. So there's one more page that I really want to talk about, and this is just me sorting by the new set and seeing what's been winning. Now, it seems like the most popular new cards that have been tried and played is Crobat EX, Sylveon EX. I kind of knew that people would love this. I mean, it's one of the ones that kind of stands out immediately as being meta. It has a pretty good win rate too, of a 52% win rate. You have your classics, Giratina, Sylveon Greninja, Charizard Sylveon, Buzzwole, and it turns out Umbreon was played a lot. This is the highest placement Umbreon deck I could find. It's running Greninja. It's very similar to the version that I built. 1 Sylveon for extra draw power, 1 EVEX, and then 1 Umbreon to deal with specific matchups like Darktina. But even though it was one of the most popular decks played after this set release, it's just not really doing that well. Donphan is doing a lot better with a 49, almost 50% win rate. I think that might even get higher as people learn how to play the deck. Also, people trying Crobat Umbreon. This one's winning even less, unfortunately. You have Lugia Ho-Oh with a 48% win rate. So honestly, we don't really know. I think we can kind of say it's not that great, but there's only been 10 use cases. You've Sylve Magby. You had 7 people try this. It has a 50% win rate. Wait, that's actually not that bad. Oh, it just honestly didn't get that high in any of these, except for this tournament, which actually had 154 players, so that was a pretty decent amount. Let me check out this list. Oh, this is running Blacephalon and then Magby, so you have good going first with Sylve, and then you follow up with this card instead of like Rampardos. You use this. Honestly, I think I need to try this out too. And then you have Ho-Oh Dragonite being played only 7 times with a very low win rate. Honestly, I think the best and only way to play Dragonite is with Pichu, and there's only 5 people that tried it, but they have a 62% win rate. So again, it's only 5 people, but 5 people with a 62% win rate. If you're watching this video, try out Dragonite Pichu in tournaments. We need to see more results for that. I feel like it's a lot stronger than people give it credit for. So yeah, that's the overview of how the current meta is shaping up. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.